Gold and get free silver just like this right here. That's right, for every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver coin that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Again, this is it right here. You probably can't see it, but those are the flags right there. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and the Birch Gold Group can really help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases, and if you're a current or former military member, the Birch Gold Group has a special offer just for you. They're waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of satisfied customers, many of whom are RAV viewers, we want to encourage you to diversify your savings into gold. Text the word America to the number 989898 for a free information kit and to claim your eligibility for a free silver coin just like this with qualifying purchases, but you have to do so before the end of this month. Again, text the word America to the number 989898 today. In other headlines on this Tuesday afternoon, today is National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. President Trump will participate in a Medal of Freedom ceremony at the White House honoring the late Kirk today. Today would also have been his 32nd birthday. The House of Representatives passed a resolution last month designating today in honor of Kirk. The resolution says, quote, encourages educational institutions, civic organizations, and citizens across the United States to observe this day with appropriate programs, activities, prayers, and ceremonies that promote civic engagement and the principles of faith, liberty, and democracy that Charlie Kirk championed. There's also a bill working its way through Congress that, if passed, will put Charlie Kirk's likeness on as many as 400,000 silver dollar coins. That's a quick check of your headlines. I'm Terrence Bates.
The Charlie Kirk Show, where truth lives.
All right. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. We're doing a little guest swap. I see Senator Mike Lee is just getting into the room. You know, everybody's furloughed in the Imperial Capitol, so getting people in and out has actually been somewhat entertaining today. But let's go ahead and see if there's any more emails here, Blake,
well,
as he gets...
because he's about to get here, let's throw at 155. We have a Charlie tweet from all the way back in 2013.
Oh, yes.
I love Mike Lee.
155, so throw that up.
And he said in 2016 that Mike Lee was his favorite senator. So.
154, throw up 154. Mike Lee is my favorite senator, sent on March 10th, 2016. So I hope you didn't do anything in between those times to ruin your status atop the senator list, but welcome to the show, Senator.
Thank you. I'm elated. I hadn't seen those particular tweets. I'm so honored by that.
Isn't that great?
I love Charlie. What a good man.
I didn't even know that he tweeted those things out.
There's a Charlie tweet for everything.
Yeah, there is a Charlie tweet for everything.
I knew I was his favorite, to be sure, but I didn't realize he had told the rest of the world that.
Well, so let's just start there. All right, Senator, you know, you were a regular, and you hopefully will continue to be a regular on this show, but, you know, you and Charlie had a close relationship. You stayed in constant communication. You know, Charlie was based in Arizona. You're just in Utah, one state away. Explain what this whole last month and change has meant to you. It's his 32nd birthday today. The floor is yours, Senator.
First of all, happy birthday, Charlie, and thanks to all of you who are keeping his legacy moving forward. I think the last month has been tough. Not only did they take away a dear friend of mine, a dear friend of the American people, but they took away a leader, a husband, a father, somebody who had immense potential and destiny. I'm absolutely convinced he would have been president of the United States probably within a decade or so, which at Charlie's age still would have made him an exceptionally young president. But this happened almost in my backyard. I mean, UVU is just a couple of miles from where I live. And it's not the kind of place where that's supposed to happen. I remember just a few weeks earlier, Charlie called me one day right after he had scheduled that particular visit and said, Mike, I want you there. Be with me, come do the event with me. And I was really excited about it. I said, tell me the date, pulled up my calendar and realized the Senate would be in session. I said, I will be there if I possibly can. There is a chance, though, that there will be votes that have to be cast that day that I can't miss. That turned out to be the case, and a few hours before the event, the night before, I texted him and said, there's no chance I'm going to be able to get back for this. He texted me that day just as he was about to get to the event, telling me how excited he was for it. So, look, a huge loss. But it's up to the rest of us, those of us who knew him and had such admiration for him, to keep his message moving forward, to make sure that his words echo throughout the ages.
Yeah, I was not there that day. I actually was originally going to go, but Charlie said, oh, stay back with your family and guest host the show. So I guest hosted the Charlie Kirk show that day, and Blake, unfortunately, was there, and so was Jason Chaffetz, and so many friends, so many staffers that will live with that. But today we're kind of honoring this, what President Trump had raced back from the Middle East to do, which is to honor Charlie with the highest civilian honor that our country can bestow on somebody, the Medal of Freedom, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And you see what Charlie meant to the president. And, we got a chance to spend a little time last night, and so many friends. I mean, Charlie was, we talked about this earlier, Charlie was a man of the people. He was always about the grassroots, always about the muscular class, sort of reviled the elite in a sense. He was a kind of a populist in that way. But you go around this town right now, and it's like the who's who, and they all loved Charlie. And his friendships and his network extended to so many of the most powerful people in the world right now. And you're seeing that on full display with the President of the United States, after brokering a peace deal in Israel, Gaza, flying back, racing back for this. I guess just reflect on the enormity of that and how that, what that says about the impact Charlie's had.
Well, it's a huge thing, and it's one of countless data points that we can identify since September 10th. Of where the entire world has reacted. You've got foreign heads of state recording tributes to him. You've got the President of the United States flying to Arizona the following week for that beautiful memorial service where the President himself and many members of his senior team also spoke. He's brought together all kinds of people, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm optimistic that his legacy will be a lasting one, in part because he's got such a great team of people who knew him really, really well, and you because you remember, because you were there for a lot of these speeches, and you're going to be able to recall with an accurate degree of detail which Charlie Kirk message fits the moment.
Yeah, I think we all have this like Charlie GPT running in our head.
People want us to make a literal Charlie GPT.
I know. Yeah, we're getting contacted by all these AI groups, and we're like, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Okay.
I hope you'll consider it, though. You consider the amount of words that Charlie uttered as part of the public record over the last decade or so. It's a very large volume.
Yeah, I think what we do genuinely want is we want the ability to see everything he did say in the past, with all those hundreds, thousands of hours.
Yes.
I think people would be a little creeped out if we started, having a robot speak what Charlie would say. Yeah.
No hologram.
I wasn't even thinking of the hologram yet, but that would be a lot of fun. You probably want to watermark it to make clear.
Wait a little longer before
this is AI.
I'm not there yet, but I do appreciate your glass half full on the AI robotics kind of stuff.
In the meantime, Blake's got it in his head. He can.
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can.
So I want to show this image. Senator Lee, you and me kind of teamed up to make this story go pretty viral in your home state. So this was published. Go ahead and throw up image 99. We mentioned it yesterday on the show, but I just find this shocking. This is Bagley cartoon, the Hole in the Head gang, wanted for failure to honor their oaths to protect and defend the Constitution from dictatorial whims of a malignant clown. And it has you, Burgess Owens, the Republican electeds from Utah, right?
The thing to really emphasize there is the way he's put the red bandanas around them. So it's like they all have this burst of red coming out of them.
Right around the neck. Obviously, Charlie was assassinated with a gunshot to his neck area. And I saw this and I could not believe my eyes. And then I found out that this Pat Bagley character is a far left lunatic, and they celebrate him at the Salt Lake Tribune as one of the longest running employed cartoonists left in America or something like that. But he's not even in America. He moved to Portugal. So anyways, I tweeted about this, sent it to you, and I don't know if you'd seen it already or whatever. I think maybe you had seen the edited version because they took down the Hole in the Head gang.
That's right.
So, I mean, how did this strike you? What are you thinking? What's the status of this? Like, can we fire this guy? It's just one of those things, like, on a human level, I want accountability. I'm not saying you can't have free speech, but this is like October 7th. It's not even a month out after Charlie's murder.
Right. Look, we ourselves, of course, can't do anything about it in terms of what his future looks like there. That's not up to us. Not up to any government. Their speech is protected by the First Amendment, and I'll fight to the death to make sure that they've got that. That doesn't mean that it's a good idea. Just because you can legally and because you're protected doesn't mean that certain things are a good idea. And publishing something like this, which I regard as just the next iteration in a long series of inflammatory statements and inflammatory images like this one, they don't contribute to a good environment. Calling people fascists, Nazis, this kind of imagery is something that they've been doing for a long time. In fact, they did that just a couple days before Charlie Kirk spoke at UVU. They referred to me and Riverton Mayor Trent Staggs basically as Nazis, saying that we were bringing about the Vichy regime of the United States, or words to that effect. A couple days later, a member of their editorial board was asked about it, and he said, oh, no, those guys are totally fascists. And, look, they're constitutionally protected in their right to say that, but it does create a certain atmosphere. Now, this, a few weeks after that assassination occurs, with the red bandanas around the neck, with the hole in the head comment, that's really, really pushing it.
We have a clip we want to play. This is from when you came on our show last March.
Last March.
And one of these topics came up. Let's play clip 156.
Senator, what do you make of this rise of left-wing terrorism targeted at Tesla and Elon Musk? My fear, Senator, and I hope I'm wrong, and let's stay in prayer that I'm wrong, that someone is going to get shot the same way that Steve Scalise got shot, and God forbid, killed.
This is what domestic terrorism does. This is what domestic terrorism looks like. They very much want people to be in fear. That's why they do it. They understand that people understand that there is a risk of bodily harm or even death in these kinds of circumstances. And that's designed to induce fear.
One of the worst things about what happened to Charlie is just how prophetic he was about raising the alarm about the rise of left-wing terrorism and Maggionism. I find this chilling to even hear him say those words. Senator Lee, how does that strike you, given what's happened?
First of all, I remember that interview now, you play the clip. And I remember just finding his words chilling when he made that comment, realizing he's probably right. This is the sort of thing that happens. So I'm glad you played that for us. But one of the most troubling things that has happened since Charlie's death has been the extent to which there are people all over America, people in responsible positions, leftists who openly celebrated, openly applauded what happened, wishing on death for more conservatives. Mm-hmm. I did not expect to see this. Look, you think back other times when other prominent national figures, whether office holders or otherwise, have been assassinated. Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, just to name a few. You did have, sure, there a couple of crazies here or there would say something stupid, but they were immediately dismissed as not being responsible members of society. This time around, people were openly celebrating it, and they were not rejected by their own. And that harkens back to this poll, the NPR PBS Marist poll that came out about 2 weeks ago. I believe it was August 1st, saying that 55% of leftists in America believe that it's morally acceptable to murder the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. That is just chilling.
It's chilling. And by the way, there was a economist YouGov poll conducted a few days after the assassination that found 30% of 18 to 39-year-old self-described progressives or liberals said that political violence was justified to achieve political ends. We're going to hold right there. We've got more with Senator Mike Lee. I'm going to quickly tell you about Patriot Mobile. All right, we're at a break. We're going to break. I digress. I will do it after the break. All right.